In my 8 years of playing Marvel Future Fight, there's been a lot of updates that feel completely out of left field, but none so more than this one. As you can see right here, sneak peek number 4 for the March update. The mid-month update is here. The first half of the update gave us new uniforms for Red Goblin, Kraven, and Dr. Octavius, a Sinister 6 update if you will. And many of us were speculating that to follow that up, we were going to be getting something for the other members of the Sinister 6, a truly villainous update. Or if that's not the case, maybe we're going to be getting Kang as a playable character and then his world boss legend. Instead, this is what we have. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the April Fool's update for Marvel Future Fight. So I know the first question that comes to mind is, what the heck did I just watch? Because that's exactly what I thought of when I seen this thing for the first time. I had to watch it 2 or 3 times to make sure that I wasn't dreaming. This is not a drill. This is not a joke, even though it's an April Fool's joke. No, this is real life. It's actually coming to the game. I know a lot of you guys may or may not like this look for Thanos. It's definitely different. I personally prefer him with the obsidian armor that he currently has. And truthfully speaking, where Thanos is right now in the game, even though he's fallen off a little bit, he's still super relevant, more relevant than 90% of the characters in the game. So I wasn't really expecting him to get a uniform anytime soon. And then on top of that, tier 4. Now in this trailer here, they did show us tier 3 at the very end. So we know for sure that Squirrel Girl is getting tier 3. And this right here is a money move from Netmarble because we just got tier 3 Green Goblin. So they're following up with another speed tier 3. Most people are not going to have books, and if they want to get this really dope looking version of Squirrel Girl day 1 and play with her, most people are going to have to buy books, whether it be one of the upgrade packages or the monthly Titan record booster. Either way, this version of Squirrel Girl, it looks absolutely amazing. Now I know some of you guys are going to be pretty upset by the fact that Squirrel Girl beat Thanos. However, this is a comic run being brought to life. This is a meme being brought to life by Marvel Future Fight, and I'm living for it. Personally, I would have preferred actual content instead of the same old tier 3, tier 4 new uniforms.
There he is, beating that dead horse. Get him!
But at this point, I'm not gonna waste my breath beating that dead horse. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just ride the horse, let it die, and see what they decide, because at this point, talking ain't gonna get nothing done. I will say though, it is quite interesting to see the evolution of Marvel Future Fight, where we went from these kind of April Fool's joke where they hinted that we were getting new game modes. You guys remember this right here, where we had Wolverine offering nail services, Dormammu offering cooling mask packs, Iron Man selling burgers. Some of y'all probably brand new to the game. These were April Fool's jokes before. This is what the jokes were. Now they've actually taken it a step further, because on one hand, people were amused by the April Fool's jokes, but then on the other hand, where we are right now in the game, them spending time on stuff like this just for funnies, people would be pissed off. So at least they're taking their creative juices and putting them elsewhere. This was an April Fool's joke as well. I believe this was the first year they did it. This was the second year. And if I'm not mistaken, this was the 3rd year. I'm getting old. Time is passing. I've been at this thing for 8 years, so maybe I'm wrong. But it's actually nice to see them paying homage to one of the April Fool's jokes that they did a while back. But I'm curious to see what they're going to do and how they're going to basically get people people to spend for these uniforms, because Squirrel is definitely going to be paywall because she's female. And the trends when it comes to seasonal uniforms, yes, this will be seasonal. Keep that in mind. These uniforms will not be here all the time. They're going to be here for about 2 weeks when they drop, and then after that they're gone until next year. So if you missed out on the April Fool's uniform for Gwenpool and Deadpool last year, they're coming back. But here's the thing, most seasonal uniforms, unless they're support characters, they don't last more than a year. So if you missed them on release, you're only really picking them up just for funnies. Because look at Deadpool right now, look at Gwenpool right now, not really relevant. Gwenpool's still strong, but we have tier 4 and we have stronger tier 3s coming out. Now I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was a bit disappointed with this sneak peek, just because since we were getting a 2 for here with Gwenpool and Thanos, I was hoping that tomorrow would be getting another sneak peek. However, that's not the case. They're only dropping one sneak peek and they put both of the things that we're getting in one. So it says, check out the new look and powers of the Titan who's living a peaceful, ordinary life on the field. I hope he's far from ordinary, because Thanos is going to be super expensive. We'll touch on that in a second. And then we have the unbeatable Squirrel, who has taken her powers to new heights. So tier 3 Squirrel girl, she's looking more squirrely than ever, and it looks like she might become a super villain. She looking pretty villainous, I ain't gonna hold you. Like red glowing eyes and that buff tooth, looking like you don't want to get top from her. I'm sorry, bro. Like that sloppy toppy might be a problem. I don't know if you can really see it, but like yeah, she got that buff tooth action. Nah fam, I'm good. Miss me with that. That's the danger zone. Shout out to Kenny Loggins, boy. But my point still stands. This one sneak peek thing kind of feels like a lazy move from the devs. I wanted to see a little bit more. Now, for Squirrel Girl, she needs a top to bottom rework. The only thing she really got going for her is the fact that she has a couple iframes in her kit, and she got a uniform, I think like 5 years ago. So she was ahead of her time with the iframes, right? She got, I believe, one on the 2, I believe a slight one on the 5, slight one on the 4 as well at the end there, and that's about it. Skills 1 through 5 need to be reworked. She, I would say, can keep the 4-star passive, maybe add on to it a little bit more, but her skill set definitely needs to be more cosmic-y, if that's even a word, just because she's wearing Thanos' armor, and Thanos has a lot of cosmic powers, especially in his new Obsidian King uniform. So really looking forward to this. Definitely gotta bump up this tier 2 passive. If they're gonna keep the guaranteed dodge, I gotta be like 30% at least minimum. But I'm curious to see what they're gonna do for her. She needs the whole 9 yards. As you can see, if you take a look at her skills, it's not really much here. The summon, yeah, it's Squirrel Girl, so she's gonna have summons. I would prefer if the summon is not targetable, because in today's meta, I don't like targetable summons. You know, they get in the way a lot of time. But as far as I see it, she needs damage reduction, damage immunity, invincibility, iframe, ignore dodge, accumulation, penetration, healing, literally everything, because this kit is super outdated. And if you consider the fact that people are going to have to spend money, cash, dollars for this one, $15 minimum, it's going to be the same cost as Morgan Le Fay and all of the other female seasonal uniforms, so like Black Cat. So I truly hope whatever they decide to do for Squirrel Girl, they actually make it worth picking up the uniform and doing something that makes it so that she has a long-term viability. I think what they should do, especially when you consider the fact that she's following one of the strongest characters in the game, and she's a speed type, and she might be a villain, I think what they should do here is realistically change Squirrel Girl's typing to universal. It would make sense, you know, Thanos being universal and all, she's taking on the title of the Titan. Change Squirrel Girl to a universal character and make her heavily focused on PvP, since she's becoming Thanos, and Thanos has always been in every iteration a PvP character. Curious to see what they're gonna do for him this time around, because what do you give the man that has almost everything? Either nothing or very little. Yeah, I would like to see Squirrel Girl as a PvP character. Where we are right now, most people aren't building tier 3s for PvE content like that, unless your name is Green Goblin. So they could make her absolutely busted like Kamala Khan, but even then, why would you spend $15 to get another Kamala Khan when you can just get Kamala Khan for free? So I think the smartest way for them to actually go about this is just beef up her kit and make her actually viable for PvP. How dope would it be to see Squirrel Girl in PvP running amok, taking out Jean Grey, Thanos, and Adam Warlocks all over the place? That would be dope. I ain't gonna hold you. Now, moving on to Thanos. Like I said previously, what do you give the man that has almost everything? Especially when you consider the fact that he has one of the most expensive uniforms in the game. Thanos' uniform on sale is the same price as a seasonal uniform, $17.50, because natively every Thanos uniform costs 2,500 crystals. So you know what that means? This uniform, since it's a seasonal uniform and seasonal uniforms never get discounted, this April Fool's uniform for Thanos will officially become the most expensive uniform in the game. 2,500 crystals. I would be shocked if it's any cheaper than that, which means they have to make it really worth it. Because if you take a look at Thanos' current uniform, he has almost everything. I believe there's only 4 or 5 effects currently in the game that I can think of off the top of my head as I'm recording this video that Thanos doesn't have, and I'll mention them here in case that's what they plan to do to justify the sale, because this is a heavy price, especially when you consider right after this April Fool's update is going to be the anniversary update, which is the best time to spend cash or crystals in Marvel Future Fight. And if you take a look at Thanos' current skill set, you can see he has almost everything. Additional pierce damage. Maybe they can bump this up from 5 to 8% or 10%. That would be mad. Maybe they can bump up his damage reduction, but 50% is already like one of the highest damage reduction of any character on a uniform bonus. Not to mention the fact that his HP, when it drops below 30%, he heals himself for 70% of his HP. That's actually crazy. What they could do here is one of two things: increase the activation rate from 30% to 50%, or keep the activation rate the exact same and then increase the amount of the heals from 70% to 100%. That might actually make this uniform something to consider if you are a timeline battle pro or a timeline battle whale or an AC whale or Alliance Tournaments whale. Like, they bump up the amount of pierce damage he does, bump up the amount of damage reduction, bump up the amount of HP that he heals, or the activation rate or the cooldown time. They cut it from 120 seconds to, I don't know, 90 seconds or something like that. That would make people really start looking at this uniform. But then in addition to that, I think what they need to do here is consider giving Thanos immunity or damage reduction from reflect, because the primary way to cheese Thanos right now is when he uses Titan Blast to just have an Emma Frost or a Destroyer or even an Ancient One some of the time, and you can basically make Thanos kill himself. So if this man actually gets immunity to reflect damage or 50% less damage from reflect damage, or get the ability to reflect damage himself, that'll actually be mad. Besides that, the only thing I can think of is a counter attack, which he doesn't really need because he already has iframe ignore on this skill. So why do you need to wait to get hit when he can just hit you regardless of what you're doing? The only other thing besides that would be damage accumulation. He doesn't have damage accumulation in his kit, so if they add damage accumulation to Thanos, oh boy, he'll be spicy, especially if the damage is any semblance of what he currently has.